Good evening and welcome to our concert. It's been a fun year in 5th and 6th grade band, and we're excited to show you what we've been working on for the past 2 months. And now, Cora and Olivia are going to come up and introduce our first piece.
Hi, I'm Cora and I play the saxophone.
And I'm Olivia and I play percussion.
3 French folk songs is not surprisingly a medley of 3 folk songs from France.
Folk songs are songs that originated in a certain country or region and are passed on by oral tradition from one generation to the next.
Although these songs originated in France, most Americans are familiar with them as well.
The first song you will hear is Au clair de la lune, which means by the light of the moon. The second song is Frère Jacques, also known as Are You Sleeping, which we will perform as a 3-part round. And the final song is Alouette.
Hi, I'm Juliana and I play the saxophone.
And I'm Zoya. I also play the saxophone.
Next, we'll be performing our school song, which was written by Floyd Hutzel for the University of Minnesota and has been adopted by Jordan High School and many other schools in Minnesota as a school song.
We will play many verses with each section of the band getting to turn to play the melody, and then we will play it all together in 3-part harmony.
Next to the drum will stand out of the way for photo opportunities in case you want to take a picture of your favorite 5th graders after playing a melody.
We hope you join Minnesota Rouser.
I'm Ziva and I play the flute. And I'm Caroline and I play the trumpet. Next we will be playing our pop song, which is a lot of fun. Hand Clap was written by the members of Fits and Tantrums and was released in 2006. You're welcome to join me on the clapping parts. We'll teach you in case you don't know the song. Ziva will clap the rhythm and you echo her. Ready? Great job. Miss Fuchsia will cue you when it's your time to do it. We now present the hand clap.
one more piece at the end of the concert with the sixth graders, but first, they get to show off their awesome listening skills while the sixth grade band plays. Sixth grade band has been a lot of fun this year. They have had some creative ideas that we've incorporated into performances, and they have a lot of positive energy. I've really enjoyed working with them, and I'm already looking forward to having them in seventh grade band next year. Although I've heard that some of them didn't sign up for seventh grade band. If they change their mind because they realize they miss all the fun, parents would just need to contact Mrs. Meyer to ask her to change their schedule request. Also, I want to mention that we have one sixth grade percussionist who isn't here tonight because he's sick, so we hope Nathan feels better soon. And I want to thank Ezra for volunteering to play Nathan's most important part, which is on the red away and the blues. So thank you, Ezra. And now here are Elise and Candace to introduce the first piece.
Hi, I'm Elise, and I play the saxophone. And I'm Candace, and I play the trombone. Yellow Submarine was released by the Beatles in 1966. Here's one of the several songs that featured the band's drummer Ringo Starr as lead vocalist. We apologize in advance for this one if this one is stuck in your head after the concert. It's pretty catchy. It's also really fun to play. We hope you enjoy Yellow Submarine.
Hi, I'm Cole and I play the baritone.
And I'm Jack, and I play the saxophone. Next up is the red, the white, and the blues.
As you might guess from the title, this piece features patriotic tunes, but also has a little bit of blues mixed in it.
The patriotic songs you'll hear are bits
include Americana Beautiful, Yankee Doodle Dandy, and Your Grand Old.
The blue part is used between the patriotic songs and is played by the trombones, baritones, tuba, and percussion.
We now present the red, the white, and the blues.
My name is Emma. And I'm Elena, and we play the clarinet. Our next piece will feature the trumpet section. Just kidding. Obviously, it features the best section, the clarinets. There are 18 of us, which is more than a third of the band, so Miss Newsham figured this was a great year to do for the clarinet. We hope you enjoy the jazziness and clarinetiness of the clarinet jive. Isla, and I play the flute.
And I'm Cece, and I also play the flute.
Squirrel Chase is the fast and fun piece that was written by Carol Richard Chambers in 2023.
Isla and I would like to read this paragraph that the composer wrote to describe what the piece is about.
One of my favorite things is to watch the squirrels run around my backyard. They are constantly on the move no matter what time of year, chasing each other and tumbling about.
The canopy of oak branches high overhead becomes a squirrel's highway system, complete with converging lanes, tangled overpasses, and soaring ramps. Occasionally, the squirrels will pause, but ever so briefly, and then they are back on the run.
Squirrel Chase is a fast-paced gallop inspired by these squirrels. A gallop is a lively dance and is also often used as circus music.
Percussion parts are lively and add a quirkiness of the piece. I hope you can envision the energy and humor of the squirrels, whether you are performing or simply listening to Squirrel Chase.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the 5th and 6th grade bands. We would now like to perform one piece of two bands combined. Dark Beginnings was composed in 2023 by Randall Stanley. You may recall a couple of standard pieces earlier this year. 5th grade band performed one called Shadowfire, and we performed one called Wizard's Fury. Okay, fine. Wizard's Fury. That was an inside joke that you probably wouldn't get unless you were in the sixth grade winter concert and you were paying attention and had a good memory. So if it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it.
Anyways, the beginnings part of the title of this piece refers to the song that beginning bands typically play, including Hot Cross Buns, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and Baa Baa Black Sheep.
The dark part of the title refers to the fact that when you hear those beginning band songs, you won't hear them in a way they're usually played. They will be played in a minor key, which for songs are normally played in a major key. It is a bit unsettling, and they will be played with lots of intensity and what the composer calls bombastic percussion parts.
The songs are also kind of a mashed up with little bits of each one coming through at different times, and occasionally two playing at the same time.
Thank you for coming to our concert. It's been fun to show you what we've been working on. We will now close the concert with Dark Beginnings.
chairs and stands and percussion stuff can stay because we have another concert tomorrow night. Have a great week.